Journal entry 27th of the month of November, in the year of our Lord 1156. The world, as my father knew it, is failing. Plagues ravage the lands with concerning frequency. The Holy Father himself, whom we suspected of scheming against House de Villeron, is said to lay with women of ill repute frequently. We have refused his ill-conceived call for a second crusade to install a lackey of his choice in Jerusalem, and we were not the only ruler to have seen through his machinations. The Crusade has fractured. The King of Poland has refused to march his subjects to their death in the Holy Land, and instead seeks to retake Byzantium for the Roman faith. Meanwhile, my own rule seems to be built on sand. I have learned from my father and my sister that I must act, lest those around me act against me. I have fulfilled my oath to my father and wed Valence, despite her common birth. The nobles of my lands have voiced their outrage, but I will not see the depravity of their ways drive us. The time for me to assert the rule of justice is now. So yes, obviously the Polish king is leading his own crusade against the Byzantine Empire, so basically against the Orthodoxy, to reinstall Roman rule over the eastern lands. All the meanwhile, the Andalusians are rampaging through the lands near the papacy, and the Pope himself, if he's not busy otherwise, attempts to retake the Holy City for his own glory and control of these things. So what we're going to do, because we are facing a relatively dire situation at home ourselves, my subjects basically hate me, most of them, and I have been declared a sinner by the church. However, I have refused to bow to the obvious injustice and machinations of the games that these people are playing, and instead we shall do our own, but I do have to assert my legitimacy. And currently we need at least, we should be having a legitimacy of 4, and we're currently too low. So we're going to have to work with that, and currently scheming to somewhat improve my my understanding with my cousin Borel of Rouergue. And we still have to keep an eye on these attempts to murder my friend Bernard Ezi. So I still assume that my steward is behind this, who is currently trying to convert Quercy into the Toulousian faith culture. So we also have to end the regency. So let's get that underway. And we'll give him a few days. Otherwise, we will act directly if he doesn't leave himself. Okay, I have become the head of the Toulousian culture. Good, and you are to leave the regency once my wedding is complete. With my marriage to Queen Valence, the realm expects us to throw a suitably extravagant wedding celebration. It is well within my right to collect a royal aid duty as part of this, but some may consider it tasteless to levy an extra tax during a time of jubilation. I will let 290 coin. No, I will let my subjects enjoy the festivities without worry or care. And we shall not squeeze them for the grandeur of nobility. So that's that. We can hold court, and Payan has improved people, and the neighboring ruler is now speaking the same language as us, which is much appreciated. Okay, so we'll continue our efforts with Count Borel in order to improve him, but we do have to end the regency. So his service, he could not resist. To be honest, he hasn't done the greatest of jobs. We could pay him, but definitely not that much. We don't have the piety, so we have the alliance. So yes, for now, I will offer him a favor, and in return for his services, that is the least I can do. So that's that. All right, but the very first thing that we shall be doing is we shall muster the troops, and we shall retake the lands of. We shall take the lands in Auvergne while the king is still trying to rebuild his forces. Uncle Ogier is leading the troops, and we have mustered in Marvejois, and we shall move on Carla first, and we will see. We will see if we will see how the French react. Now, obviously, the king is calling in his own alliances, and we do have to keep an eye on any kind of attackers that will move against us. But for now, we will put some facts onto the ground and begin the first siege. Who's asking me? Lord Mayor Arthur the Ill-Tempered of Argent. I have he is trying to promote the legacy of Arthur Pendragon. Honestly, at this point, I have no coin to spare for that sort of thing. Yeah, we will not deal with that because promoting legends is expensive, so not something we'll do. But we have to keep a very wary eye on enemy troops being raised, as well as the plague spreading in the north. But we shall see if we can. There they come. Okay, let's see where they move, and if we shall complete the siege before they enter our lands. I am interested in actually accosting them before they can completely join forces. But at the same time, I also won't give chase in the lands everywhere where things go. Queen Valence, the very first thing she did was to bring in great savings in the household. Well done, my queen. And I think, actually, she is currently on assist ruler. She could give me currently deal with chivalry or with the domain management. I think domain management is the right call because that'll, for now, reduce the amount of cost. No, we're not starting any legends right now. But I am of half a mind to abort the siege to accost this army before the rest of the forces can find us and deal with them because they have superior numbers to us. So I think this is the right decision. So we will for now abort the siege and try to accost the enemy force in the north, and we will begin the siege once more. Where are they going? Are they going towards Gévaudan? Probably. That might be a direction they're taking, or they're waiting for us in the fields at Rouen Castle. That is plains, and they have. What do we have to deal with here? Some pikemen, but I think overall we can take them on. So. Let's see if we can accost them on the field, and then finish off the first part of the French defenders here. Their battle has been joined. At least we have managed to catch some of them under Count Philippe of Sancerre, and Ogier the Stout is leading our troops. So our heavy cavalry is going to deal severe damage to them in these plains. And I think we will ride over them relatively quickly. And with that, the first battle of the war has been won decisively in the slaughter of Rouen, and not much can be said about the performance of the French so far. My knights have fought well, and including Count Borel. So that's that. That allows us now to catch the second group in isolation, because they are now we give chase to the army of Belak and see that we can deal with them as well, who are marching on Gévaudan. That is ambitious, but we will see if we can outrun them and run them down catch them in Montpellier. There are additional troops landing in the south, the company of the False Earl, and I think with that, if we can, we're catching them in Cevennes, and we have slaughtered the ones that have escaped near Cevennes, and now we can take on the company of the False Earl, and see that we can defeat them in Montpellier. All right, how's the plague going? Plague is, I think, retreating, so that would be great news. But for now, let's see if we can accost the enemy at the coast, the company of the False Earl. They have decided not to move on to Montpellier, but they are still unorganized, and they have been decisively defeated as well. So far, we have won the battles quite decisively against the scattered forces of the enemy, and we have we've captured Dethard, a knight of the company of the False Earl. He's an evil lackey, so I do not wish to have anything to do with him. They will not. So far, we'll leave them in prison for a bit. We'll see if they will pay ransom. But now we'll move north again, and once again, depending on where they are going to, to attack us next, we will again begin siege in Charlat, or we might hold. This is part of Auvergne. Yeah, we might instead besiege Thiers first. Yeah, let's do that, because that is closer to where they were last attacking from. And yes, the victory has been complete, and so far we have not lost many of our own, and the enemy has done badly. In times like these, it's best to be wary of any strange smells. This one, however, emanates from a corner of the market square, and it is positively fragrant. Get your sachet here, only the freshest and best herbs used. The crafty merchant's stall was covered in various aromatics, and she holds a pouch filled with them in each hand as she hawks the wares. She notices me and extends one for me to try. Only the best, my lord, keep you right safe from French fire. It will. I pluck the sachet from the proffered hand. It does seem like something that would keep the miasma away. Protective sachet for 80 coin. Sheesh. That is... However, it does... it may not actually protect them against disease. It makes them and those nearby feel safer. So that would give me some opinion of those around me. It might be an investment that is worth doing just for the improved opinion while we are trying to establish our legitimacy here. Yeah, we'll do that, and we have gained that. King or peasant, high or low, it does not matter. In the end, we are all mortal. I was reminded of this as I woke coughing in the early morning, and we have gotten ill, but okay, we've only gotten ill, but we haven't actually caught the plague. Good. So Oda, once more, will be tasked with dealing with my sickness. My illness has receded with the help of my personal physician, and while Uncle Ogier is leading the armies, Uncle Antoine has invited me to a hunt. While traversing a challenging path in Montauban, I hear laughter ahead. My steward Takulf and my courtier Baudouin are working together to cross a wide grassland-fed river. Takulf, your idea of building a makeshift bridge was brilliant, exclaimed Baudouin. Darkov replies with a chuckle, and your quick thinking with those long grasses tied it all together. It seems as if their obstacle has led to a new friendship. This will... Yep, they become stress. This will hasten our journey, indeed. And I do lose some stress because I am impatient. We do have to keep a close eye on enemy troops landing, because the First Army of Provence is moving in, and that is a significant force. So we shall have to deal with that relatively quickly, but we will have to take care here, because that is... Well, they are not at full force. They are certainly a force to reckon with. So we shall see where we can defend ourselves against that force, and bring our own troops to bear. We might have to raise pikemen once more, but I do not have the coin to bring them in any kind of significant number. So for now. Instead, given that they are mostly relying on their cavalry, so armored horsemen would be relatively like mountains would be a good area to defend against them. So we shall move south towards the mountains of Uzès and see if we can intercept them there, or where are they moving. Meanwhile, this is a problem for Uncle Ogier, but we are starting preparations for the hunt. And I've checked my gear many times, and it won't be long now. So hunt is ongoing, but obviously I do have to keep a bit of an eye on the armed forces here, where I think in the north we are seeing an army coming in that we need to deal with. So let's deal with the reinforcements first. At the Battle of Thiers, they should be done relatively quickly. Okay, easy defeat. But the big army is going to be... Okay, they are actually coming for us here. So let's find... unfortunately, we have hills. Okay, we will defend in the hills and stand our ground there and see if we can defeat the enemy. Meanwhile, Mayor Geoffrey assembles a party at the sun rises over the camp in the woods near Saint-Flour. The local gamekeepers have scoured the vicinity for recent trucks and fumes. There's clearly a small roebuck nearby, but no recent traces of larger game. Okay, so that's what I will be hunting. And keeping a close eye on where the enemy moves. And we have made it into the hills for defensive positions. Now it's just a question of, will they join? Yes, they will. So we're defending in the hills, and it will be a hard battle, but hopefully we can take on the French. Okay, so they've spotted the roe, and the cunning buck is hard to distinguish, but there's no doubt it's there, observing us through the dense undergrowth. All right, we're going for it. And at the same time we have to observe the battle being joined here. So there goes the Battle of Mercourt. The enemy cavalry is fighting in bad terrain, but they're bringing a lot of it, and we will rely mostly on our own infantry, as well as the skill of our knights against the enemy knights in this battle. We do have the advantage. We're defending in the hills, and Duke Ogier is a very seasoned commander. So I think that hopefully will be enough to bring that through. Meanwhile, the exhausted, panicked animal has turned to bay, struggling to stand and barking in panic. Count Antoine hefts his spear and cautiously moves towards the exhausted animal. He chooses his moment carefully, plunging the blade into its heart. A fine kill indeed. All right, a battle has been joined, and the French are being beaten back rapidly. We have gained the hunter trade and some experience. Count Antoine has lost some stress, gained some legitimacy, and has gained the roe antlers. So with that, we can finish the hunt. And now keep a very close eye on the battle that is raging there in the north, which so far is going in our favor. we've gained a level of fame. Jean de Sablé was wounded by Bouchard de Bourbon. I hope he is going to be fine. But I think the battle has been won, and now we are chasing the French out of Mercoeur. And we have indeed defeated the enemy quite decisively. We have lost a fair few of our own, but the French have lost more. And in that, I think... how badly is he wounded? It's not bad. It is but a scratch. Still, the French stand as a fighting force, so I don't think we can necessarily give chase here. So we will return to the siege of Thiers and see if we can see that we can lay siege there. There is a small force of enemies moving through our lands, but it is too small to cause any significant trouble. So not much we need to do about that. Instead, we will be focusing on the siege, and we have returned. And actually, visiting the capital of the Kingdom of Toulouse has given me some stewardship experience. Interestingly enough, so that seems that that the capital is actually a point of interest now. All right, so that's been dealt with. We have the protective sachet that improves everybody's opinions. Still, most of the vassals are not in particularly good impression of me, and we still have to deal with the legitimacy issues. But hopefully, a successful war against the French will somewhat rectify that. Despite his vows and his betrothal, King Enric, in his youthful feelings, has always been having an eye for the wife of Count Raoulf. Of course, this is terribly wrong. But, Count Raoulf has died, but I am now married, and I shall set aside these childish thoughts and put that away. Do I still... it's gone. So I shall now focus on my own queen, Valence of Toulouse, and the battles that lay ahead for us. First Army of Sancerre is moving in to try and relieve the siege, but I don't think they will have much of a chance. That battle should be over very, very quickly. There we go. Another quick win in the slaughter of Thiers. I hope the French see reason relatively soon, but I assume that their armies will return and will once again attempt at driving us off the field of battle. But we have 2 months left, and if we can get Thiers under our control, there come the French. Now, here's the problem. We're fighting in the plains, and they bring a vast number of cavalry with them. Plains is not a good territory to defend ourselves in. Clermont-sur-Allier would be a better position. The problem is that it would mean that we have to once again abandon the siege in order to defend against the French. But I think we have no other option, because if our army gets beaten by the First Army of the Provence and we don't have any... let's see again what we have. So we've got the heavy infantry, which is countered by, I believe, I think the light cavalry probably counter, the skirmishers would counter that. They have some skirmishers. I think our archers are countering the skirmishers, which is good. They have the pikemen, which counter our cavalry, and obviously they have significantly more cavalry than what we are bringing. It's like by a large number. So I think once again we have to unfortunately abandon the siege and station ourselves in the hills at Clermont-sur-Allier in order to defend against the First Army of Provence. So we'll move west and take up our defensive positions once more against and wait for the French to come to us. And there they come. And it looks like the French are actually running out of... Yes, the King Benoit is running out of coin. His war chest was already depleted. So his troops are much less willing to fight. And with that, we have, I think, a much better chance in this battle. We have we're defending from our own fortification, and we're defending in the hills against this still slightly larger French army, but very, very quickly their numbers are dwindling, and we have captured Duke Hubert of Flanders and 2 more during the Battle of Clermont-sur-Allier, because they have been decisively beaten at this point. So it looks like they had not managed to escape. Our cavalry has run them down, and their losses have been catastrophic. So with that, and our knights have conducted themselves valiantly. Their horsemen, their pikemen have been severely depleted, and not much remains, just scattered remnants that have escaped and merged into the forests. With that, yes, Oda has gone infirm, so we will at some point have to replace her, unfortunately. But we have captured some prisoners. Nobody has come for Deadheart, so I shall simply release him. We'll release him from prison, but we shall take ransom for the enemy combatants that have been the Duke Hubert, Count Bosson, and Count Giraud II of Saumur have been all captured, and we shall take the customary ransom for them while we return to the siege. And I think at this point the French attempts at stopping us have been severely curtailed. So we'll ransom everybody off. We'll return to the siege, and I think with that we will hopefully be under the excellent leadership of Duke Ogier the Stout of Auvergne, who is getting on there in age as well. I think all that remains for us to do is to take the lands, and then they hope that they will sue for peace, at which point we can go and hold court as well, and deal with our own domestic situation afterwards. But that should give us some legitimacy and hopefully appease some of the nobles in our lands against the decisions that we've taken previously. Plague? That's far away.